We're very excited about the future. I think yesterday was a culmination of the guys' work throughout the season. They improved each week, got better and better, and so excited for the future.
A year ago, this time, Steve, in order to rebuild, how would you describe the progress you made in 12 months, Chris?
Just like I said, very good. Like, I talked about laying the groundwork and the foundation of trying to build something that would win for sustained success. And for us, it was very important to do that. And I think Brian, the coaching staff, have done a great job of laying that foundation.
Chris, you have a lot of money, a lot of draft picks to work with this offseason. Are you going to spend? Do you expect to spend the free agent money this year, or are you going to big, or are you going to invest it in the future and build with draft picks, or both?
Brian and I have had conversations, with Brandon and Tom, and the big thing for us is we're going to be smart about it. We're going to build it the way we feel right, and we have money in cap space, but doesn't mean you have to spend it all. We're going to try and bring in a lot of players here, good players here, and keep building the roster, and we'll be very smart in how we do it.
That's going to be the topic everybody wants to talk about. When you guys look at that from the draft and the free agency standpoint, how do you look at what you need to do in 2020? Do you have to get a new one, or do you look at it a different way?
No, we're talking about the roster, and the season just ended yesterday, so we're going to go through it, with the coaching staff and scouts, and we'll talk about it, and we'll look at everything like we talked about. All fall is every position's important. Quarterback, we understand that's the focus for everybody, but we're going to go through the process and make smart decisions and work through it and do what's best for the organization.
Is finding a franchise quarterback the priority?
Like I said, it's finding pieces everywhere. Again, not trivializing how the quarterback position, but we're going to investigate that hard, just like every position in the draft and free agency.
Chris, do you anticipate Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen coming back next season, or being on your training camp roster at least?
Yeah, right now, both those guys. Fitz did a great job for us, and Josh has worked hard, just like Brian's been saying. We've seen improvement every day in practice and his growth. So so we're excited about both of them.
How high on the list is upgrading both lines? Do you feel like you need multiple new offensive line starters, Chris?
Again, we'll go through the process here, and but I think we want to get better everywhere, though. Everywhere. It's not just O-line, D-line. It's all positions.
How do you view the Josh Rosen trade at this point? Can you consider that a success?
I don't know what you consider a success or failure or whatever, but for us, we're excited. We took an opportunity on a young player that's dealt with a lot of change throughout his college and pro career, and for us, watching him grow and improve every day has been good for us, and so we'll always take chances if we think it makes sense for us to try and improve the roster.
Brian, in general, do you have an opinion on high-priced veteran free agents? And we know that a lot of those guys can contribute and help get you better faster. Do you have a general opinion on that?
I think anyone who can help this team get better and win, we'll take a look at. But like Chris said, and we've had many conversations, regarding look, everyone thinks we've got all this this money to spend and blow, and that's we're going to be judicious and responsible with our salary cap. We're going to make smart decisions. We've got a process that we go through, and look. I think people see a number, they don't really understand that there's draft picks that are part of that. There's you got to save some for injuries, so it's not everyone's got it's $100 million we're going to spend really all of it. I mean, that's just not how it works. So we're going to be judicious, responsible. Chris, Brandon, they do a great job of trying to forecast and predict how we want to, the different ways we can do that. And I think we're going to make the best decisions, or try to make the best decision for this organization.
Chris, I know at one point you had said you have the tools to do whatever you want moving forward. You have the capital to do whatever you want. Are you comfortable at number 5, or how likely are you to maybe look towards moving up or down?
No, we're very comfortable where we are. For us, Again, we've made a lot of moves, and again, we can do a lot of stuff, like we said, in free agency and the draft. So we're just excited here to get going and do the off-season process and upgrading the roster here.
Talk a little bit about how your work this fall. We kept hearing 2 Dolphin scouts at this game and at that game. And that's something we hadn't heard before, I hadn't heard before. It was spectacular. Could you talk about did you scout more with 40 defense? Or change plans any?
No, it's scouted the same still. I think, with that, Brian and I have talked about it, and you have 14 picks, but you still never know what's going to happen before. So, for us, it was seeing scouts to get our eyes on as many good players as they could around the country, have multiple looks. So our scouts do a great job of going out on the road in the fall and finding guys and looking at guys. So for myself and Marvin Allen, just getting out and seeing some of the top players throughout the fall was pretty much normal protocol for us.
What are your thoughts on potentially drafting a player who may have suffered an injury recently or maybe injury prone? Would you be more reluctant to kind of draft a kind of player like that, or would you maybe want to get him in the program and see how he could develop when healthy?
Well, that's always a tricky one, just because we're so far away from having all the information. So, I don't want to speculate on that, because you got to go through all the doctors and Kyle and, Uribe Schwartzen and, they all do a great job of providing us the information, the medical stuff. So for us, we'll investigate everything, and, if it gets to that point, we have to make a decision, and we'll be well-versed in what we need to do.
To retain all your assistants, or do you have any update on Jim Caldwell, if you expect him back?
We're evaluating everything. Players, coaches. I'm evaluating myself. I probably should have threw a couple more red flags over the course of the season. So everything's being evaluated. And I think that's the right approach you need to take after, a season. Just to reflect and make sure you're doing things, or we're doing things, the right way, and doing, things in the best interest of the Dolphins.
As you build this team, is there a specific point where it needs to start from here, whether it's offensive line, defensive line, quarterback, or is it just best available talent and you do it like that?
Chris and I, we've had a lot of conversations, centered around, exactly what you mentioned. I think it starts with, the culture and bringing the right kind of guys in. So character means a lot. As far as O-line, D-line, Chris mentioned it, I think, we're going to try to bring in, good players at all positions. And try to build this thing the right way with good players who put the team first and love to compete.
Brian, what can you tell us about your message to the team after the season wrapped up?
I told them I was proud of them. It's very similar to what I talked about in my media session yesterday. I was proud of the way they dealt with the adversity throughout the course of the season. I love the way they worked in practice and meetings and walkthroughs, and how towards the end they really started to trust in the process. And I thought they really worked hard, and they saw some of the fruits of their labor. Not only yesterday, but in the latter stages of the season. So. This team knows how to deal with adversity, or they learned how to deal with adversity this season. I also mentioned that every season is a little bit different. This team is going to, be different than the team we have next year. And that's the business of the National Football League. But I think we laid some of the right foundation, and we just need to try to build on that. Moving forward.
Chris, where do you expect to
Be a year from now.
Just keep getting better and then improving each game, trying to win every game. So, again, it's a process for us, and Brian's laid out a great plan and vision for it, so just excited for the future.
Is there any expectation of being a playoff contender next year? I know you'd probably say yes, but in terms of this rebuild, Steve Ross has spoken of multi-years. Is year 2 of a rebuild realistic to expect to be in playoff contention?
We're just going to, like Brian said, we're just going to keep trying to bring as many good players here as possible, and whatever happens, happens.
I would say we're just going to take this thing one day at a time. You know, nobody's thinking about anything. We're just trying to improve, get better on a day-to-day basis, you know, and, you know, just try to improve, get better.
Tell us about Brian's involvement in the 53-man roster during the season, and then as you go ahead in free agency and the draft, will it be more than head coaches that you've worked with previously, as much, or a little bit less? How would you characterize that?
No, Brian will be heavily involved, and you know, again, that's I think Brian does a great job of talking about the types of players he wants, and again, even the players that we brought in throughout the season. You know, Brian has been very open to working through the roster and the waiver wires and claims we've been doing. So, no, and like I told you guys from day one, I don't think it works without having the collaboration of working together. So, he'll be very involved, and as he has been through everything we've done.
Brian, I'm writing the story of the America Flores back in Honduras, and I wanted to ask you, they think you're a role model. What do you think about that, and do you think the possibility of maybe you going down there and, doing a clinic or something like that?
Well, I didn't know they played football in Honduras, so they got a league, huh? All right, well, as far as being a role model, I think it's an honor to be called that. I think, look, I've been to Honduras many times. I love that country. It's obviously where my parents were born, and I do plan on going back, pretty soon. Hopefully this off season. So maybe we can work something out where, I love to coach, so I got no problem. We might have a little language barrier. My Spanish isn't that good, but that might be something we can do.
Brian, what pleased you the most of what happened during the season?
Excuse me?
What pleased you the most on what you saw this season?
I've been asked that question a few times, and I always, I kind of mentioned it a little bit yesterday. We dealt with a lot of adversity, and I really think when you deal with defeat, when you deal with disappointment, again, it either breaks you or makes you stronger. And I think this team got stronger. And I think when early in the season, when a lot of people thought we were broken, we were actually building and strengthening as a team. So that's really what to me that the one thing that I was very, very pleased with. And I don't think a lot of people knew that was happening. I think only the people in the building knew that. Which is why I speak so much about, us as a team, just, blocking out anything from the outside and just, really, spending time really just locking in on the things that are happening in the building.
Brian, what do you consider the turning point of this season?
Probably when we put Fitz in the game in the fourth quarter Washington game. I think he really gave us a spark. Drove us down the field for 2 touchdowns. Gave us an opportunity to win at the end. We didn't. We didn't finish that game off, but I would say if there was one moment, it's probably that one.
Super early in the process, but I've got to ask about Xavier Howard's arrest this morning. How does that impact you guys to start the offseason, having that happen?
I think we're still gathering information on that. We take situations like that very, very seriously, and we're gathering information, and it's unfortunate, and how does it impact us? It doesn't impact us. Again, we take these things very seriously, and we'll gather all the information and do what we feel is best for the organization.
Final question?
Do you still anticipate him being on the team next year?
Look, we're gathering. We're again, like I said, it's too early to tell. I haven't even talked to him. So we gotta go through we have a process here. We'll go through that process. Chris, myself, Brandon, Tom, we'll talk through this. We'll have a conversation, with X and make a decision off, once we get all the information.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.